I wanted to take a break from talking about reactions and public interviews and all that to talk about something that's been on my mind recently: toxic relationships. Let's get into it. Now, I'm gonna give y'all a few signs of a toxic relationship just so y'all know. One, if they lie a lot, Slim, you gotta go. Lying in a relationship is crazy. Also, they start manipulating you emotionally with words, saying things like, "Oh, you're never gonna find anybody better than me." Oh, I see that a lot with like my friends who are girls, like, like, and it'll start becoming a process with them. They'll be like, "Oh, I can't find it. I won't be able to find anybody better than him if I leave." That's stupid. That's dumb. Now, third sign is if they get mad easily at just anything. You feel like you're walking on eggshells every time you talk with them. I don't know if that's more so anger issues, but I'm gonna throw that in there with toxicity and all that. Now, I don't know how we find ourselves in these predicaments. Usually, toxic relationships were something back in the day. Toxic relationships weren't even a word. That wasn't even a word until our generation. You feel me? And I remember the first time I saw a toxic relationship, it was adults. Like, it was like full grown adults. And you know, it still happens to this day. But now we're starting to see toxic relationships within us. High schoolers, middle schoolers, to even elementary school kids. Like my cousin just got out of a toxic relationship and he's like 10. So it's just crazy how that stuff happens. But let me tell y'all a quick little story real quick about a random toxic relationship that I may or may not have been in. So this person may or may not have been me. We don't know. So there was this girl, and this girl really started fucking with this guy, right? She was supporting him in what he wanted to do. He would tell her everything about, "Oh, I want to do YouTube. I want to do this. I want to do that." And she was very supportive, and she seemed to hang around with him a lot. Now, he thought, "Oh, she's just trying to be my friend. She's just trying to be social with me," until things started getting to that level. And he had a crush on her too, but he was too pussy to say anything. So he just didn't say anything until she said something to him. Then they got together, and it was blissful. It was amazing for the first part. And if you ever been in a toxic relationship, you always know that the first part of the relationship, it's like bliss. It's like, I'm not gonna say heaven, but it's like, it's amazing. Like, you feel like you're on top of the world every time you talk with them, every time you're with them. It's like a roller coaster. It's so many highs. And that's what it felt like for the first part of our relationship. Like, she would come and see me a lot. We would do everything together. Shoot, the guy and the girl would do everything together. The guy and the girl would do everything together. And she was this guy's first kiss, first makeout session, and everything was good up until that point. And you know how I described toxic relationships like a roller coaster? This is when the down part of the ride starts to come in. She starts getting angry at him for stupid stuff. She starts saying rumors about him, saying that, oh, he's talking to another girl, when he wasn't. He really wasn't. The only thing he was focused on was drawing, and he didn't really have time for any other girls because he had a girlfriend. And Even though she got angry with him and spread rumors about him, he stayed. She manipulated him with emotions and words, and he still stayed. He thought that he couldn't get anybody better than her. He thought that she was his one and only, things of that nature. And throughout all that, he stayed. 2 months of constant hell, and he stayed. And throughout all that, he still stayed. Throughout all the hell, the playing with his feelings and all of that, playing with his emotions, he still stayed. He still stayed. Up until the point she broke up with him. And then when that happened, he realized the colossal mistake he made in not only not recognizing her red flags, but staying with her throughout everything. And he took a while to recover. It took him a year to get back into another relationship, and he had offers of getting into other relationships, but he declined them due to the effect that first relationship had on him. And it changed his perspective on women. It made him cold-hearted. It made him not so loving and caring. And as a result, he started to attract even worse women. Not to the scale of the girl that he was just with, but similar women around that caliber. And it wasn't for a while until he met a decent girl. And that toxic relationship still kind of affects him to this day. Its effect wore off, but there's little hints of it every now and so, every time he gets into another relationship. And that right there is what a toxic relationship can do to you. And I'd like to talk to those who are in a toxic relationship right now, and those who are just bouncing around from situation to situation trying to find something. The main cause, or I feel like the reason why most people stay, is not because, oh, I like the person. That can be a reason too, but it's desperation. Whether you're desperate to keep them, or you're desperate in a case of you don't want to be lonely. And I see this especially with guys, because girls, y'all don't want to hear this, but y'all have it way more easy in the dating world than we do. If y'all wanted somebody, whether they were ugly, mid, good looking, whatever, you could get them. You could literally get them. Whereas for guys, it's a little harder. And I'm not complaining. I'm not saying, oh, that's not the way it's supposed to be. You gotta live with it. At the end of the day, that's just the way it is. But in the guy world, it's like, if you don't have a relationship, if you're not with somebody, if you're not talking to somebody, if you have quote unquote no motion, you're gonna get ridiculed. You're gonna get looked at as someone who's less than, someone who isn't worthy. And that in itself is the reason I feel like most men stay in toxic relationships. Because after a while, the love and the likeness starts to go away, and you end up just staying there for social status. You end up just staying there for just so people don't call you lonely. And like what most people need to realize is, it is okay to be alone. Like, it is okay to not have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or anybody for a while. We need to normalize that being okay. Not having a boyfriend or a girlfriend for a while. That is okay. Especially if you're focusing on something, or if you want to accomplish something, or just life in general. Like, it is okay to not have somebody. In this culture where everybody's trying to get booed up, and everybody's trying to, oh, I want this, I want that, I want this nigga, I want that bitch, I want da 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 da. Slow down. It is okay to be alone. It is okay to not have somebody for a while until you find that person. Not the right person, but you find that person who is better than the rest. And that's what I feel like most people definitely get misconstrued. And that's what I want to say to those who are still in toxic relationships right now, or those who are just bouncing from situation to situationship. It's desperation. And the only way for you to get rid of that is to look inside yourself. And a lot of people don't like to do that. We always throw the blame at someone else. And yes, it may be their fault, but we have to look inside ourselves. We have to think, okay, if I got with this person and I ignored all these red flags coming in, what does that say about me? If I attracted this person to my life, what does it say about me? And just do some self-reflection. And I'm not putting the blame on you when I'm saying that. I'm just saying that's what helped me. I mean, that's what helped the person going through that. That's what helped him. And that's what can help you, you know? And I'm just tired of hearing about toxic relationships. And again, this term wasn't a thing in the 70s, 80s. Not the word toxic relationship was just prominent right now. In our generation, the word toxic relationship is prominent as hell. And people chase it in a way. And I see why, because it's exhilarating. There's ups and downs and ups and downs, and the highs are really high. But the lows are low. The lows are bottom feeder low. And sometimes those lows could get you to a place where you don't want to be. Maybe the side, maybe something else. Like, it can really get you. So, to end this video off, realize that, one, it is okay to be alone, and two, if you see any of the signs that I just mentioned, or if you can relate to the story I was telling you in your relationships, it's time to go. And I know you're probably that type of person, like, you don't take your friend's advice and they've probably told you a plethora of times leave them, and you don't leave them. I know that advice is gonna work, so I'm gonna give you a little analogy and I hope that it clicks. Okay. You're a flower. A beautiful pink, whatever color you want to be, flower, right? And this bee comes up to you. Now, this bee starts, landing on you a lot, staying there for a while, giving you some nutrients, taking some of yours, but it's all in good connection, and you really fuck with this bee. This bee is giving you what you need. Then the bee starts taking a little more than you bargained for. And, you stick to it, but then one by one, things start changing. Your petals start getting less vibrant than they used to be. Your stem is is getting browner. It's not the shiny, it's not the shiny glowing green it was. One by one, the petals start falling, and those petals can be your sanity, your will to live. It can be your emotional, the stress you go through. It can be anything. And one by one, that beautiful flower that everyone admired, especially in the garden, everybody was talking about that flower. Oh, that flower is glowing. That flower is amazing. And you have a family of flowers, and they love you. They appreciate you. They love how much you're glowing. And you come back telling them, oh yeah, I was with this bee, and this bee stole a little bit that was bargained for, but I'ma still stay. And they're seeing the what's the word? They're seeing the downfall of you as a flower. They're seeing the petals come off. They're seeing your stem not look as good. You feel me? And they're trying their best. They're pouring water on you. They're trying to get you the nutrients that you need, but you still keep on coming back to that bee. You still keep letting that bee fly onto you, and they keep on telling you, stop letting that bee fly onto you. Stop letting that bee fly onto you, and just keep on letting it happen until the point that it destroys you. You have no more petals left. Your stem is a deep dark brown, and you're a shadow of your former self. And then the bee goes away for good, and you realize the horrible mistake you made to yourself as the flower. All the while, if you just used your head, listened to the other flowers around you, you may have lost maybe 2, maybe 3 petals, but you still would have had some petals. You could grow them back, and you could be back being the best. You could be back better than ever, glowing in the garden. People still point out those flowers, like, oh, that flower looks amazing. It could still be that, but you didn't listen. All you had to do was just use your head and listen, things of that nature. And sometimes it could be cloudy, and I understand that we're all human, but you gotta listen to your people at some point. And then also it can get to a point where the other flowers in the garden start moving away from you. They start branching out, doing more things. Shoot, some of them might even start growing flowers themselves, making trees. You feel me? I'm not a plant person. I'm just using the analogy, but they start moving away from you. And when the bee leaves, they left too, and now you're really alone. And this could bring your flower to the brink of collapse, and you end up not being a flower anymore. You're just on the ground, on the dirt, just a speckle of what you used to be. So, to any of those watching this, 1, look at the red flags, please. We need to normalize that. 2, if your friends are telling you to leave, because it can get to a point where your friends are like, oh nah, we gotta get the fuck, because you're ruining their vibe because they're trying to help you and you're not listening. And 3rd of all, remember, it is okay to be alone. Be comfortable being by yourself, because you're gonna need that at some point. That was some calm, cool little therapist Marzo. Man, Pretty Boy Marzo the Dawn. Mara season 2. You're doing different shit. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, stay out of toxic relationships. It's Pretty Boy Marzo the Dawn. Love y'all. Peace.